Hey guys, Brandon from Grimdark Australia here, and here to take you through our first Patreon tutorial. Fucking oos. And with that, let's get started. So we're doing yellow. What we want to do is we want to prime our whole model out in black, and then we're going to base coat the whole thing in Vallejo's Charred brown. Realistically, any dark brown color would work for this. Once that's all done, we're now going to be going through and applying our first lot of highlights. So for this, we're just using a golden white, any white primer or white inks will do. And we're just going to go around the model and apply some white highlights. So as you can see here, what I'm doing is I'm using a bit of card. This is one of my business cards I had laying around. And I'm just using that to mask off areas I want to retain the brown undertones. Everywhere else though, I'm going to start coming in with our white and start highlighting the model. And with that, we're going to then bring a yellow in over the top. And then that's where all the yellows will stand out. So on this side you can see I haven't used the card to mask off the top area as I'm going through and using the white to highlight up the places we'll be basing the yellow on. Just going through the motions pretty quickly, and then I'm just using this bit of card just to mask off that edge. We really want to emphasize having those edges, and that's going to help with our color variation, show contrast between the different areas of the model, because that's where we're going to be building up our dark browns, and then the next panel over it'll be a nice bright yellow again. So right here, you'll watch all the paint just come flooding out on that corner there. I'm not too sure why this is happening, but I've recently been having a lot of trouble with these cheap Chinese airbrushes, and I've just finally bitten the bullet recently and purchased a new Iwata HPCS, so hopefully that will help alleviate that problem in future. So now I'm going to take you through a few different yellows and show you that you can use any one. This is the Liquitex range yellow ink. Basically just shove this in your airbrush once you finish doing all those white highlights over your brown base coats, and literally slap it on. Just throw it on the model all over everything, get it in there. So you can see that our earlier prep work with our brown base coat and our white highlights really do a lot of the work here once we come back in with our yellow. And you can see the separation between the panels because we got the dark brown edge straight into a nice bright yellow. It looks mad. There she is. So that's going to be the basis for our armor. You can see underneath I've left that pretty brown. You're never going to see the underneath of this model once it's on a base, so I haven't put any emphasis into that. But yeah, that's going to be the basis, and now we'll move into our Citadel contrast Iodine yellow, and I'll show you that you can do pretty much the same thing with the contrast. You will notice that the contrast comes out a little bit thicker than the yellow ink, and I don't think it's quite as transparent as the yellow ink, but it still has quite a nice effect. So yeah, generally the same as the yellow ink from Liquitex, just a little bit more opaque. And now we're going to go to my favorite one, which is going to be Vallejo's Sun Yellow. Get the Game Air version, just throw it straight in the airbrush. I wouldn't thin it down, the yellows tend to be pretty transparent as is. And just do the same thing. So that's Vallejo Sun Yellow. We're now going to come in with our first highlight, and we'll do this across all the bikes, and it's going to be Citadel's Flash Gitz Yellow. Ultimately, you could just add a little bit of white to whatever ink that you're using, but we'll use Flash Gitz, and basically we're just going to go through wherever our bright points on the model are already, and just apply the tiniest little touch of Flash Gitz Yellow to that. So with this step, you do need to be careful. What I'm doing here is I'm not using the card anymore to section off the panels. I'm just tilting it on an angle and just trying to spray as if I'm just hitting the top edge and letting the rest of the paint fly over the top. But go around the whole thing and just apply your highlights carefully. With this, you'll sort of help with trigger control and things like that, and aiming. It's good practice. And then once we're done with our highlights, we'll let that dry, and then we're going to come in with our Citadel shade, which is going to be Fugean Orange. I'm not too sure how to say it, but we're going to bring that into our dark brown shadows, and we're going to reinforce that. We're just applying some light coats to help tint the color of the dark brown into closer to an orange, and help smooth out the blend from yellow to brown. This adds a really nice visual aspect for me. It's a little bit more on the cinematic style, and we're just going to go through and do that to any shadowed areas that we have on the model, and then that's pretty much going to be all our yellow power armor done. That's the first part of our Lamenters yellow tutorial done for you, my Patreon boys and girls. I hope that was insightful and it helped you guys paint yellow a little bit better at the very least. Let me know what you think. Give me any feedback that you've got, and I'll be back to you guys soon with all the details, chipping, washing, and how we take this beautiful beast into a Grimdark monster. Talk to you soon. Ciao.